Oh, here we go. Fiona. Yes, do one more
What do
time.
we want?
Save the elephants!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save the elephants!
When do we want it?
Now!
No more ivory!
No more ivory!
No more ivory!
No more ivory!
At this stage, I'm the volunteer to the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust in Kenya and organiser of the Wellington International March for Elephants. So welcome everyone, and a big welcome to Minister of Conservation, Dr. Smith. Thank you for meeting us here today. Friday, the 4th of October 2013, at least 4 elephants have been killed for their ivory in the time it's taken us to walk from Civic Square to Parliament Buildings today. Today, the International March for Elephants will occur in over 40 cities across the globe, and today we bring to the world one global message: ban all trade in ivory. Today the world will witness the first global demonstration for another species in the history of humankind. This historical event starts here today in Wellington, right now. While we're marching, one elephant is killed every 15 minutes for its ivory, and at this rate there will be none roaming in the wild by 2025. These are not disputable facts. They are not questionable statistics. These facts are based on reliable, reputable international data. And the slaughter continues today. 2012, Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa, 22 elephants killed by poachers attacking from helicopter at a World Heritage Site. March 2013, this year, 86 elephants are killed in Chad, including more than 30 pregnant females, most of which aborted their calves when they were shot. September 2013, last month, Zimbabwe, more than 90 elephants are poisoned by cyanide poisoning of salt licks at a waterhole in Zimbabwe. These poaching incidents are actually commonplace in Africa, but New Zealand doesn't hear about them so much. These incidents, they're not hunting to feed a family. It's not the result of human-elephant conflict. This is organised crime. It's even been likened to the drugs trade, to the arms trade, and to human trafficking. It is a lucrative business, it's a deadly business, and not just for the elephants. The International March for Elephants was also to be held in Nairobi today, but due to the tragic events at the Westgate Mall, the Nairobi March was cancelled. It is ironic that the militant group claiming responsibility for that attack receives 40% of its funding from the killing of elephants to supply the illicit trade in ivory. May we acknowledge with a minute's silence the hundreds of thousands of elephants that have been killed for their ivory. 1,000 rangers known to have died while protecting elephants in at least the last 10 years. And let's also acknowledge those that have tragically lost their lives in the terrorist attack on the Westgate Mall in Nairobi. May we start the minute's silence now. Thank you. Despite these sad statistics, the New Zealand government remains somewhat silent on the issue of ivory trade and its impact on elephants. The Secretariat General of CITES, John Scallion, has since said, people are now speculating on extinction. They're buying up resources now on the basis that they will be worth more in the future because the species will become extinct. In the meantime, governments through CITES across the globe continue to investigate ways to enable an international trade in ivory into the future. The demand for this ivory largely comes from China. China is recognised as the single largest consumer of ivory in the world. This demand is fuelled, or has been fuelled, by the 2 one-off sales by CITES of ivory in 1998 and 2008. The first sale to Japan, the second to Japan and China. There has been a categorical failure of CITES to protect the elephants. These are little known statistics in New Zealand. The poaching incidents, the international decisions that are being made and the discussions that are being held. New Zealanders just don't know. Should we be interested in the imminent demise of the elephant? I think our children will be asking us some pretty difficult questions if we don't get interested now. New Zealand is not Africa, but ask any preschooler to draw an elephant and you will be dazzled by their efforts. Symbolic of strength and magnificence, durability. They've walked alongside us for thousands of years. They're the largest mammals on land. They're intelligent, social, they have strong family bonds, and they actively protect their kin with their lives, and they display grief. From baby through to adolescence, their stages of life mimic our own. These are iconic creatures, and they are now vulnerable because of the illegal trade in ivory, which is booming. They might not be in our backyard, but there is a New Zealand ivory trade. Imports and re-exports of ivory on New Zealand shores show a steadily increasing trend. In July this year, an Auckland man was prosecuted and convicted for ivory smuggling, fined $12,000 for items including carved elephant tusks, a statue and a letter opener. With ivory fetching 23,000 New Zealand dollars for 2 average £10 tusks in China, smuggling ivory is a lucrative exercise, even if you get fined 12,000 New Zealand dollars. The legal trade in ivory. Pre-ban traded ivory goes unmonitored in New Zealand. Antique dealers can be selling it at any one time, and Trade Me continues to list, I've seen up to 50 items on Trade Me at any one time, with no evidence, maybe anecdotal at best, of whether it's with pre-ban authentication. Like any international issue, New Zealand's contribution to it may be viewed as insignificant. I say today, any contribution to the illicit ivory trade can only be viewed as significant. Where there is a legal trade, there is an avenue for the laundering of illicit ivory also. Where there is money to be made, there is trade. Where there is trade, elephants will continue to be killed for their tusks. So, we call on the New Zealand government to publicly destroy the New Zealand held stockpile of confiscated ivory, to ban all ivory trade in New Zealand, to work with other governments to combat the illegal trade in ivory, and to ban all ivory trade internationally. We ask that the New Zealand government not be silent on these issues. We ask them to actively support anti-poaching programs, consumer awareness campaigns and conservation efforts. We ask them, the New Zealand government, to lead the way in monitoring, enforcement and prosecutions, because I think we have a pretty good reputation internationally on that score. And we also ask the government to deliver harsher penalties. And lastly, we ask the New Zealand government to speak up, to call on China, the single largest consumer of ivory, to ask China to lead the way to ban their domestic ivory trade. I wish to present to Dr. Nick Smith today a letter, an official letter from Dame David Sheldrick of the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. Okay. And I would also like to present a banner that some children have put together. They're a bit shy. Come on over.
Cool outfits.
Oh, sure.
Shall we?
Yes, please do. Turn around, guys. So this is a banner that a company put together, a collage of preschool children's and school children's drawings of elephants with one simple message. Do not let the elephant only exist in our imaginations. And that's for you to keep. I now invite the Minister of Conservation to speak. Thank you.
Can I acknowledge Fiona and the work that she has done for this cause, and all of you on not Wellington's best day, and coming out and showing that you care about this international conservation issue. I think we all sort of grimace when we hear of an elephant being shot for their ivory once every 15 minutes. The population of elephants in Africa has roughly halved over the last decade. If it carries on where it is, there will be no elephants in the wild by 2025. That's not that far away. Now, with these issues, some people would say that's a long way away from New Zealand and we have our own conservation issues. The point though is that the reason the elephants are shot and destroyed is because in developed countries like our own there is a market for the ivory, and the best hope for the elephant is that we snuff out the trade that makes it economic for those to do it. One of the figures I found quite shocking in reviewing and coming to your march is that after drug crime and after firearms trade, the third greatest international crime ring is around endangered wildlife. And for a country like New Zealand, whether it be the kiwi or the kakapo or tuatara and all those other species, we too have an interest in snuffing out the trade in those species that are special on this planet. We are signatories to the Convention on the Trade in Endangered Species. We are actively involved in enforcing it, as you noted, Fiona. We recently, my department, prosecuted an Auckland man who was trading in the ivory, and we should do more of that. But there's actually a broader thing that we need to do. There are so many New Zealanders who are conservation minded, who actually do love the wildlife, but who when overseas see a lovely little ornament or tourism souvenir to bring home that's made out of ivory and buy it innocently, not realising that they are part of the problem that's contributing to the demise of the elephant. And so part of the purpose of this march and raising the awareness is actually saying souvenirs made of ivory are no-go and are not part of those that really care for this planet that we share. So thank you again for your message. I will read your submission carefully, take it up and formally respond to you. I want to reassure you that we as a government and a country are keen to work with all of our international players to make sure that my kids and your kids are part of a world where elephants continue to roam in the wild. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister of Conservation. Today we start the march. Thank you, that's yours. Today we started the march in New Zealand, Wellington, and it will continue across the globe to finish in Los Angeles or San Francisco. I couldn't quite work that out. But in that 24 hours, the sad statistics are 96 more elephants will be killed for their ivory. So today we ask ourselves, if we cannot save the elephant, what on earth can we save? You have chosen to be part of this historic event today. Thank you. Your children will thank you for it, and the elephants will thank you for it. And Dr. Smith, you have chosen to listen. Thank you.